Hello, everyone. Welcome back. House Zanardelli, where there are no prisoners, only guests. We just got done watching episode 2 of season 8, Game of Thrones episode 69, I believe it was called.
8.2 or episode 69, something like that. This is our lovely note taker, the taker of the notes, keeper of the notes.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie.
And I am John of House Zanardelli, and yeah, we're gonna shake up the format a little tonight because we were excited last week. It was the big final season premiere, and we got a little long-winded. It got like over 40 minutes, so yeah, we remember like one of our old formats was we did like our top 3 scenes per episode. So yeah, we're just gonna go straight into that because this, in a nutshell, was just like the preparation before what's gonna come in the next episode. It was kind of like the episode right before Blackwater in season 2, almost.
So what's your starting number 3?
I have to cheat a little bit on this because my top 2. Now, bear in mind, neither of us, like when we wrote out our lists for our 3 favorite scenes, like we didn't know what was on each other's list. So, yeah, my number 3 is kind of a tie because I couldn't choose which one but there was actually 2 scenes that really kind of got to me emotionally. There was, I think the first scene was, there's a scene where Davos is handing out soup to everybody at Winterfell, and there's a little girl that shows up with like the dragon skin on her, and the look on his face, the look on the actor's face when it reminded him so much of the little girl that was with, I'm drawing a blank on names right now. What was her name? Okay, but yeah, it's like the girl that Davos, the princess, or the lady that, like this young little girl that her dad sacrificed.
It was Stannis' father. It's Stannis' daughter.
Stannis Baratheon's daughter. Yes, thank you. She's consulting the Archmaestress is consulting the Google to correct my lack of knowledge of names. But yeah, so anyway, so Davos sees this girl, reminds him of Stannis' daughter, and
Shireen.
Thank you, Lady Shireen. Like, reminds him of his daughter, and it's just the look on his face, and when she's saying that she didn't want to go to the crypt, that she wanted to fight, and you knew every bit of him just wanted to protect her and keep her safe because it reminded him of the little girl that he missed and wasn't able to protect. It really, maybe it's being a dad or something, but it just really got to me, like just watching him, having that moment, interacting with her. I loved it. That's one of my ties. The second one, the other one that kind of got me.
So is this your second one then?
No. This is still tied for third because I couldn't pick. My 1 and 2 are pretty solid. They couldn't get bumped off. I love seeing a character like story arc complete and watching Brienne of Tarth finally getting knighted, and just the build up to it. Like everyone was talking about she was talking about how she couldn't become a knight, and
well, that's all she's ever wanted.
Yeah, it's from the moment we've seen her.
Even with Renly, that's all she's ever wanted.
Right, and then our wonderful tall was it Wyndham Hotel's wildling who tells her, like, why can't you be a knight? And she's like, tradition is it's only a man. And he's like, fuck tradition. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. And then there's Jaime who's like, you don't need a king to do it. All you need is another knight. And Jaime knights her in front of a lot of major key players on the show. And it was just a beautiful moment.
All people that have come to fight for Winterfell. Mm-hmm. But at one time or another, we hear Tyrion say that they have all fought against
At one point, we've all fought against Winterfell.
Or fought against the Starks.
Right. We've all fought the Starks, and now here we are about to die.
Defending them.
Defending Winterfell. But yeah, just seeing everybody's, just their joy of watching Brienne get knighted, and it's something that she has deserved throughout this whole show. Like, we have seen knights come and go on this show, but Brienne is really the only one that's ever really given you a sense of what a good knight is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like those two moments, I mean, for an episode that was essentially just building up to what's going to be like this massive battle that you feel coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, just these two moments just really got me. Like, I got choked up. I really did watching these two scenes. So yeah, those are, sorry, that's my cheat. That's my tie for number 3. So on with yours.
All right. So my number 3.
Here's your one.
So my number 3 would be the first scene in this episode is seeing Jaime in the Great Hall at Winterfell. And basically he's kind of on trial. I mean, because Dany's going into the whole, like, my brother told me stories about this guy, this person who killed our father and blah, 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 and what we would do to him when we ever found him. And she's like almost smiling, Mm-hmm. And you almost feel like she wants to just screw all this and cut his head off and we're done. But
nobility be damned, this is the man that killed my father.
And here's the thing. Sansa's kind of right up there with her, like, yeah, all right, I got your back, girl. We can do this. And Jon, it's interesting because they look at him and Jon's like, really doesn't want to get in their pissing match, Because after a while, Brienne gets up and says, excuse me, Brienne gets up and vouches for Jaime. And Sansa's like, oh, wait, you vouch for him? Oh, well, that changes everything. Because Sansa didn't know that Jaime had sworn an oath to Catelyn and yada, 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 and is like...
Oh, yeah, that was a nice reveal.
Oh, wait.
Like, he may have murdered my father,
He lost his hand trying to save Brienne and me. Mm-hmm. And yes, he...
Oh, he gave Brienne...
Well, he didn't murder Ned.
No. Oh, that's right. It was Joffrey that gave the order to have him murdered, right?
Yeah, he fought Ned in the streets, but he did not murder Ned.
That's right. But, yeah, I was like, he...
And then that was when Jon was like, yeah, I'm not getting in this pissing match. We're good. He was smart about it.
I was at the wall this whole time. I'm staying as far away from this as possible. But, yeah, this might be a short episode because I think you've tackled my number 1.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Like I said, none of us knew what our lists were. But go on.
I really enjoyed it because a lot of, again, key players stood up for Jaime.
Yeah.
And
against too.
The
start,
there was only one really, maybe 1, 2-ish, because Sansa kind of flip-flopped there.
Sansa and Daenerys, yeah.
Dany was like, I want to kill you. We're done. Why are we talking about this? Mm-hmm. Wait, it's their castle, but I'm trying to be their queen.
I want to be their queen, yes.
and yeah. So, but yes, it was really cool to see Jaime basically on trial for past,
basically everything issues he's done in the show.
Yeah, it gave a real good history of Jaime. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially,
and Tyrion even stood up for his brother too. Mm-hmm. But again, they mentioned later on that Jaime was Tyrion's best friend at one point in Tyrion's life. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, but that was my number 3.
Yeah, it's my number 1. And the reason it's my number 1 is what a hell of a way to kick off an episode is basically looking at the entire history of a character.
Jaime Lannister.
Look at it as far as he's come. But on top of that, the thing I thought was great was it really embraced like the big theme that's in Game of Thrones, which is the women had control the whole time. Because it was, I mean, essentially, it was Daenerys and Sansa that were essentially leading all of the charges against him. Tyrion goes to speak up. Daenerys shoots him down immediately he's like, I trusted my brother like you trusted your sister. And I was like, and there went Tyrion.
Well,
And
because at one point they all thought Cersei was serious, and yes, I will send you my army. Yes, let's fight the White Walkers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
it's like she basically lied to all of them, and
she
even
did.
Even Jaime didn't see it.
And Jaime, that's the whole reason Jaime left, was because he found out Cersei was lying.
Mm-hmm.
And Cersei's getting this huge army, the Golden Company. And all this is...
And she's just holding on to them. She's waiting for them to fight their battle that they now realize. But, and again, to go into how the women are controlling the direction of the scene, essentially, Jaime probably would have been executed right then and there if it wasn't for Brienne standing up to talk for him.
Right.
I mean, and then in the end, they just turn to Jon. He's like, we need every man we can get. And that's all he says.
He can fight. We're good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that reason, and God, what else can I go on about the scene? Just the interaction between all of the characters, the revelations to Sansa that maybe Jaime wasn't as bad as she thought, because, I mean, Jaime wasn't really much around King's Landing. Like, she basically was Cersei's, errand boy for everything that she wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So she got to know Cersei pretty well by being around her. She never really got to know Jaime very well. And to be honest, Jaime didn't get to, we didn't get to see this Jaime until, recently.
Yeah.
Because he's such a dynamic character on this show, just watching everything he's had to go through. We started out
hating him, and now we're like, oh, we love you.
Well, yeah, because you realize that he's not beyond redemption, in a way. And I think that's what's so intriguing about his character.
Right.
And of course, and then I think another small great moment there is just one line from Bran when he says the things we do for love, and just
dude, that was cold.
Yeah,
that was cold.
Shut him up right there. And later on,
game, set, match, winner, Bran.
Yeah, later on, we go to see him. We have Bran and Jaime have a scene later, and Jaime apologizes for what he did to him, and he says, "Oh, I'm not angry."
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." All right, so yeah, that's your number 3, my number 1.
Well, have you done your number 2?
Sure. I'll go with my only
remaining. Well, wait, I'm not done.
Okay, what else do you want to?
So my number 2.
All right.
Because I'm going in order.
I can, but go on.
No, that's not my problem. So my number 2 would be Theon returning to Winterfell.
Oh, thank you for putting that on there.
So for me, that was a big one, because Theon he loved this family, but he hated them secretly, and then he realized that at some point, I think when he was with Crazy Guy for a while,
I think it was when he returned to his family,
that the Starks really did treat him as a son and not a prisoner.
I think it was that moment.
They never treated him as a prisoner. They always treated him, excuse me, or tried to treat him with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And he, for some reason, hated them, and just it never, because he wanted to go home so bad.
I think there's,
I don't know.
I think the resentment Theon had was mostly just, if you think about it, the Starks are essentially the family that everybody aspired to be like, Mm-hmm. And there was a love and a connection in that family and a sense of honor that everyone knew out through all the 7 kingdoms. And I think Theon kind of resented that, because the dynamic of that family is kind of fucked up.
So the reason I picked it was, one, he came back, and the person that welcomed him back with open arms was Sansa, and that was because he was her protector with Ramsay. But the thing that sold it for me was when he told Bran that he would be the one to protect him, because he stole the castle from Bran. He took the castle from Bran, and he asked Bran, "Please let me be the one to protect you."
Right, because we've got a revelation that Bran knows the Night King's coming for him. He's trying to find him.
Because his mark is on
Right.
Bran.
So
Is it Bran or Three-Eyed Raven? Should we just call him Three-Eyed Raven?
Just call him the Three-Eyed
Because
Bran.
he said he's not Bran.
We're going to call him the Three-Eyed Bran. How about that?
All right. Anyway, but that was my number 2.
Yeah. It's
So,
a good one.
Your number 1 is...
Well, my number 1 was the opening scene. But,
Okay, so you want my number 1?
I think it might be my number 2. So, like I said, this is going to be probably a short episode because there's a lot of really good scenes in this.
So my number 1 scene for tonight was that entire... It wasn't just Brienne. It was the entire fire pit scene. The fireplace scene.
Essentially all the characters coming in trying to get warm.
Oh my God. It was hilarious. It was funny. It was sad. It was
emotional.
Oh, it was great. It was perfect. It was on point.
You know what? It was exactly like
because here all these people are coming together, like we said earlier. At one point in all of their lives, they were all there fighting against the Starks and fighting against Winterfell. And now they're here fighting for their lives. And they may die tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That was a theme that came through with like every scene
they're
in this,
all,
this
I mean,
episode.
they're basically all contemplating their last moments.
Right. Like they think it's like this. That's what's been weighing heavy on this episode
Mm-hmm.
is like everyone might die.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is what's been hanging over like every fan's like.
Oh my God, it's so depressing because we're all like, who's gonna die?
It's driving all of us nuts. But no, I mean it's a perfect companion, which is why it was so hard for me to pick my first and second because they both go hand in hand. That whereas the courtroom scene was great at showing how far Jaime's come as a character, the fireplace, the fire pit, that showed everyone there. We had Davos, we had Tyrion, Jaime. We had Brienne, we had Podrick, we had so many people in that scene all coming together. And our favorite Wyndham Wildling there is just seeing how far all of them have come in this show. And it's just like seeing him at this, at this fire pit was just a great tie-in. Because I think that's what the show's doing well is it's really bracing for the final episode. Like it's building up. It's reminding all of us of like these journeys that everyone's come on.
What the hell's
so
the
far.
final episode going to be? It's supposed to be like King's Landing or something, but sorry, still having a cough.
So we've got essentially it's 6 episodes this season. We're down to episode 3 is going to be the giant battle with the dead. So it's like the last
Tormund. We keep not naming him, but his name is Tormund.
Tormund, our Wyndham Wildling. But no, the it's just the last half is essentially going to be the aftermath of the Battle of the Dead, I'm guessing. So,
yeah, I think next episode is obviously going to be the battle. Mm-hmm. Because his friend showed back up and said, you have maybe less than... You basically have tonight. They'll be here in the morning. Right.
Which,
knock.
That was my little question. Like, because they were behind the Army of the Dead in the last episode, and now they're like, they got there before. It was like, oh, they'll be here before the next morning. We're like,
we went around them. Did you see how big that army was?
That's a pretty damn big army. How did you get around them?
And nobody noticed. Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, they don't have the Army of the Dead doesn't have their three-eyed raven.
Yeah, I guess, but.
But yeah, so with seeing where things have gone in this episode, because there is a lot we've left out, and there's a lot of great moments and everything in this show, in this episode, and yeah, it's just, there's so much to go into. That's why I love talking about the show as much as I do, and I think that's...
And this is my, like, honorable mention. Sorry.
Okay, no, please, you just
So,
you have one.
my honorable mention is going to be Arya having sex.
Oh my god, no.
Okay? But no,
I get it.
Shush.
I get it.
No. It isn't so much the act of having sex. It is if you watch the episode, which hopefully you all did, and you're not hearing this without watching it. But there was no full frontal picture of her.
No.
They showed her from the side.
The side and a little...
They never showed a full, like, frontal, which women in Game of Thrones, boobs are everywhere, honey.
Yep. no, I know.
They did not do that to her.
No, they didn't. It was tasteful. Again, it's just really hard because we've grown up with her since a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just hard to watch. I mean, not hard to watch, like, because you expect it. It's just, you know, I guess in some viewers' senses, like, this is their daughter. You know, or the daughter they want them to be.
I completely agree, but my whole thing is that scene. It was extremely tasteful. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. Hey, look at my boobs. It was about.
It wasn't fan service.
Hey, no, yeah. Exactly. It was about I have never done this. I want to know what this is like before I die.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was actually a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, because you kind of like got like before this happens, like she's building up her questionnaire. She asks how many guys he's been, or girls. Good Lord,
women.
How many other women was he with while he was at King's Landing or while he was out there? And he's and you know he's like, I don't know. It's like, of course you know. It's like, yeah, every guy knows. And he says 3. And it's like, you could tell there was a build up there because there was something. I was like, oh, wait, she is interested. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you knew what was on her mind.
I caught on to that when she was hanging out in the blacksmith shop. But anyway.
Yeah, good for you. So do we want to make any speculations as to who's going to be on the body count next week?
Oh, God. I no. No. I can't. I can't. Because if I say it, I'm scared it's gonna happen.
Well, let's say it. Let's see what happens.
Fine, go ahead.
Who's the Unsullied leader? The one that Melisandre is with?
You're gonna make me pull out the Google again, aren't you?
The Archmaestress of the Google. There was a moment where it seemed like they wanted to, you know, it's like, do you want to leave after the final war has been fought and everything?
Grey Worm,
thank you. God, again, this is why I keep her around. Anyway, but yeah, he like has this moment with her. He's like, it's like, when this is over, let's leave together, you and I. I'm like, that's a moment where you're basically just condemning yourself.
Yeah, you're dead.
It's like, oh,
you're dead.
I don't want to see that happen to Grey Worm.
Grey Worm's
Please,
getting
no.
it. Yep, bye.
No.
Bye.
All right, how about you? I mean, there's going to be more than one, but I'm just saying, like, this is, for me, like, where I think it's most likely going to happen.
So, as far as, who do I think is going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Podrick.
Oh, that hurts.
I'm sorry.
That really hurts. I can see that, though, too, because even Brienne was saying, look how far he's come.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, basically, they're kind of setting these people up, and you're...
Well, I mean, they set everyone up to die in this episode.
Yes, but if you count the number of Valyrian steel blades sitting in Winterfell right now...
True.
You have... House of Tarly was just given to Jorah Mormont,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to wield it in honor of of Samwell's family.
Right. You got
That's
Jon
one.
Snow's.
You got Jon Snow's.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jaime Lannister's.
Ooh, right. Almost forgot about that one.
And you have Arya's.
I am, because you said, oh, do you count Needles? Like, I am never not counting Needle.
So,
it's like, she's never discounting Needle.
There's 4 Valyrian steel blades.
Mm-hmm. So
that we know of.
So, and I'm going to already make a speculation. I think the Night King is going to die because I have a theory as to where it's going to happen.
And I think Bran's going to die.
That could be. Bran is essentially going to lead him to that red tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look up what was up with that spiral.
Umbar.
The spiral. Yeah, because our
Umber.
house,
Sorry.
our house Umber from last week. Because everyone, like, even like the most hardcore of fans, just they had a shudder in them, and it's rightfully so that I found out because that spiral has come up a couple times. Once we saw like when they did like the pan back last season, and the dead had something the way the stuff was arranged.
Okay.
Was in a spiral. But the very first time we saw it was in a flashback to the Children of the Forest when the Night King was first made under the red tree. The stones were all in a spiral. So essentially, and apparently the show's creators confirmed it, it was meant to be an affront the way that Satanism has like their upside down cross.
Uh-huh.
So essentially that spiral is their affront to all the living.
Huh. Okay.
So that tree is where he was created, and if we're going to look at it in a narrative sense, it's going to come full circle, and that's going to be where he's going to die, is by that tree.
Okay. I like that. But who's going to kill him?
I want to say, honestly, I think Jamie.
Huh. Really?
Well, because the other scene, think about it, when Jamie said, was it when he asked, is like, well, we needed you here. And he's like, well, who's to say, when he thinks, oh, well, what about after the battle? Is it what makes you think so there's going to be after the battle? What if that's all Bronn sees is the battle and he doesn't know how it ends?
Because he dies.
But he doesn't know what happens to everybody else.
True.
So Jamie could he can redeem his character, whereas he crippled Bran, now he saves him.
Okay. Makes sense.
Or Jon Snow.
I was going to go with Jon.
As Jon Snow leaps off of his dragon.
Or as we know now, Aegon Targaryen.
Aegon Targaryen. It's going to be so hard to call him Aegon. You know nothing, Aegon doesn't have quite the same ring.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Aegon Targaryen doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
But,
all right, so I think we covered quite a bit. Even though, like we said, we're just going to do like our 3 favorite scenes, and we still kind of got a little bit there. So we got a little speculations for next week, and I guess, yeah. So unless there's anything else you want to cover that you really liked about tonight's episode.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think I hit the top 3 that I liked, and
yeah,
went into some detail for next week, and yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, same here. Like, it was, again, great solid episode, great foreboding, great, like,
I think honestly, I think also all the remainder 4 episodes that we're gonna get, they're all gonna be solid. I don't think these 2 guys are gonna give us a
David Benioff and D.B. Weiss
are gonna like veer off.
Yeah.
At all. They can't. I mean, we've all been waiting for this for a year and a half. And they're not going to give us a piss poor episode.
They're not. I don't see them whizzing it down their legs. This has been their baby. They're taking care of it so well. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, should we do the same thing when the prequel season rolls around?
Yeah, right.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I thank you all for coming with us on the journey as well. So,
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I've been John of House Zanardelli, and
Stephanie,
my lovely wife.
Yeah,
the Archmaestress of the Notes, Stephanie.
And apparently Google freaking tonight.
And Google tonight, yes. Thank you for getting all these names that I am terrible at remembering.
Grey Worm.
Oh God, I'm never living down Grey Worm.
All right, so we're gonna go.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Peace out. See ya.